And now, a thought from man. I gotta say, I'm really enjoying Netflix's new series, Harvey Street Kids. I'm honestly ecstatic that all these slice of life series that have been coming out have been pretty great. I'm just glad they do these significantly different things from each other, otherwise I would have just gotten bored seeing so many of them. This one is no exception since it's definitely a lot more silly than most other slice of life shows that have been coming out, and I'm just fine with that. Especially since we can all use a good laugh, especially in these times. Right?
Wrong.
The series is based on these Harvey comics of the 40s that had Richie Rich and Casper as part of its cast. One pretty grim thought I had is that one of these characters is just Casper before he died. I know that's kind of fucked up, but I'm honestly kind of believing it, especially when I see one of these characters named Tiny. I'm like, okay, that's gotta be Casper before he died. Come on. But I digress. It's created by a woman named Emily Brundig, however that's pronounced, who worked on Star vs. The Force of Evil, Teen Titans Go, and Netflix's Home series. And it's written by a team of writers whose works include The Simpsons, Robot Chicken, and Phineas and Ferb, and many others. So this is sort of a mixed bag of quality. This is also another in-house production of Dreamworks. So that's often something where you're a bit skeptical, but usually when it comes to DreamWorks working on a series that they normally weren't the originators of, they tend to do pretty well, so this honestly is no exception. It's just a pretty good series. The whole idea of this is about this trio of girls who act as the self-appointed guardians of their neighborhood, trying to keep order amongst their friends. It's sort of on the lines of Craig of the Creek with how the kids run the neighborhood. They basically have their own little society with rules and regulations, and from the way it seems to run, maybe these kids can run our country better than our current politicians. I mean, I'm just saying.
Right?
The characters here are more modernized versions of the characters from the original comics, without them feeling dated. That's something that's very important if you're going to update your characters. They still need to feel timeless and just feel like something that a next generation can watch without feeling like, what the hell is this reference or that reference? And I think they do it pretty well here. The character of Little Audrey looks different from her original design, where she was pretty much your stereotypical girl character. She's more tomboyish this time around and acts as the sort of leader to the group.
Well, what's your answer, boys?
There's also Little Dot, who has the biggest design change with her being black now. That changing of a character's race is fine if the character's race didn't play into how they act. Like, say, Falcon from Marvel. You could change him from black to white because his race doesn't really play into his character. Or April O'Neil from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You could change her race because her race doesn't play into her character. But a character like Luke Cage or Black Panther, by no means should you change their race. That does play into their story. So it's pretty much fine as long as the character themselves wasn't defined by their race or their race didn't play a part of their story. So it's fine here. As for her character, she's more the brainiac of the group and acts as a sort of balance to the craziness. Granted, she can get a bit crazy herself.
I am fine.
The last of the group is Little Lotta, which is a very ironic name, who doesn't have that big of a change to them, but they clearly typecasted her with that name. I mean, come on, just look at her. She's basically the muscle of the group, and when I say muscle, I mean muscle. This girl has clearly been drinking her milk. She's also more of the sweet one of the group, so she's kind of a gentle giant.
Muscles aren't always the answer. I got this.
Whoa! Tell my cat I loved him!
That's better. Hi, can we talk? So what if Tiny's fun-sized, huh? We need to accept people for who they are.
The trio serves as the order to their neighborhood. They make sure everything is going right for everyone and that everyone's happy. And they feel like a good update to the characters without having to make them totally
Fat and stupid and poppin' fresh?
well, except for one kid. But thankfully he's only focused on in one episode.
No big squeal!
A big plus for this series is this colorful cast of secondary characters. A lot of them range from your typical kids to straight up weirdos.
Got an official Hornicorn Malibu Dream Carrot. And this is, an evil spatula monster they fight.
She is honestly just kind of the major mystery of this series. But I digress. They're kind of a reminder of those kids you'd meet when you were younger. They're just something that just feels like, I've seen this before and it feels right. You know? Like, I know these characters because I've experienced these characters, and I always like when you can invoke that feeling, a natural feeling of nostalgia. That's just something I always enjoy.
I see your heart is true.
The overall humor of this series is just pretty wacky. It's based around what you would expect kids to say to each other and how they would imagine their endeavors of outside is like. They have such off-color dialogue that it feels like what a kid would say, as well as some pretty funny reactions to certain situations. And it does invoke some slapstick humor every now and then, and it's just often very funny, and you really have a good time just watching it. And the thing about the humor is it plays off of the animation very well. The animation's pretty bouncy and fun, and they use a lot of unique blends of colors for their backgrounds that it helps stands out from other series. The animation just helps with all these crazy slapstick antics that these characters will get into, and you can see the show being a lot more imaginative with the imagery whenever they want something crazy to happen. It just feels like everything properly connects to each other and it just plays off of each other. Like, it's just teamwork, the series, and I think that's something everyone can always enjoy. This is just a very downright fun slice of life series. The characters offer a lot of variety in terms of personality and general comedy. You really will enjoy the timeless feel of these characters. They feel like something you can sit down and enjoy, and years later, they'll still make you laugh. The animation is very fun and bouncy and expressive. The secondary characters add a lot to the world by being so crazy and over the top. This is just another great slice of life series. It's simple, but it's plenty of fun, and that's something we can always use a little more of. But that's just a thought.